Okay, so welcome everybody. This is the Premier Chess Adult Intermediate Fall 2020 Week 8. And today we're going to be discussing exchange sacrifices. And I remember somebody from last class, I forget who, Art. I think it was you, Art. I think you said I want to learn about exchange sacrifice. How you doing? Robert, right? Robert Klein? How you doing? All right. I remember you said you wanted to learn about exchange sacrifices, but you don't want to study Petrosian. Was it you who said that?
No.
Somebody said that. I remember somebody said that. And I was
There you go. I think it was me, Steve.
Steve. Okay, cool. So I was looking into exchange sacrifices, and I kept coming across Petrosian. His name kept coming up every time you look for exchange sacrifices. His name keeps coming up. So apparently, he is the best person to learn about exchange sacrifices because he uses it so much in his games. So I think it would be best to look at his game, at least one of his games. So yeah. Before we get into that, though, what is an exchange sacrifice? So, somebody give me a definition of an exchange sacrifice.
Minor piece for a rook.
Yeah, and what's the reason that you usually do an exchange sacrifice?
Clearance for an attack.
Yeah, so an exchange sacrifice is usually a different type of sacrifice than, let's say, a just a regular other rook, queen, pawn sacrifice, because those usually get immediate. I mean, maybe the bigger piece, maybe rook and queen, they get bigger payback, or you get compensation much quicker. It's not usually you're not usually positional sacrifices. They're usually tactical sacrifices, right? So you want immediate compensation, right? Whereas an exchange sacrifice usually is a positional sacrifice, where the player feels that in this position this is required in order to improve your position, and not necessarily have immediate compensation. So that's a big difference, right? So just give you a definition. It's not a mating combination nor a temporary sacrifice to get back to material within a few moves. However, usually it is a deep positional sacrifice that changes the character of the position. The pieces acquire the true value for what they do on the board and not by their material significance. So, reasons for an exchange sacrifice would be destroying the enemy pawn structure, establishing a strong minor piece, to gain in time or tempo, or to improve your own pawn structure, right? A few reasons to do an exchange sacrifice. Okay, so now let's look at this position. So this is kind of a generic position. This is not, I don't think, from any particular game. I don't think, but like, what kind of move do you think this kind of position calls for? What do you guys think?
Knight e4 is looking good.
Knight e4. Okay.
The attack on d6.
Okay. Does attack d6. It is well protected. But yeah, I mean, it does
locks up the pieces though, no?
Say again?
Kind of starts locking up pieces though, right? Like now the knight's kind of stuck there.
True. It does lock up the pieces.
The bishop's stuck defending f6 as well. I don't
know. The bishop, yeah, the bishop is definitely stuck up here as well. Yeah. So I mean, black has a very cramped position here in general. So the question is what to do. And so here, one of the most common types of moves in this kind of position. So look the way your pawns are pointed, right? Pawns are pointed like this, right? So in general, that's where you want to focus your attack. And so here, this is a very common type of position where a master player would do an exchange sacrifice. And also, if you look, our bishop this is a bad bishop, right? So if we can move one of these pawns, all of a sudden we're activating our bishop, right? Doesn't matter which pawn, right? And all of a sudden now we have a nice outpost for our knights, right? Either here or here. So rook e6 is a pretty powerful move in this position, right? Pretty powerful exchange sacrifice. So of course black is not obligated to capture, but then if he doesn't capture, this rook is just like a thorn in his side. We can double up, we can even triple up, and cause a lot of annoyance, right? And maybe even bring this knight over here, bring the queen here, focus our efforts onto d6 even more. So probably he's going to want to take, right? So he takes, and now you can take back either way, but taking with the d pawn is very nice because now you're giving a nice outpost for your knight, right? So d takes, knight a7. So maybe he's looking to bring his knight to a nice outpost, right? So knight d5, and now we can definitely get our piece back, but it's kind of look at how powerful this d5 knight is compared to this pitiful e7 rook. So most likely we won't be wanting to exchange that anytime soon. So yeah, so that's one possibility. Let's look at another possibility. If bishop f8. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Well, hold on. Let's see here. Knight d5. Now you wouldn't go bishop f8. Oh yeah, okay. So this is just a variation of focusing on. So yeah, maybe he's trying to rearrange his pieces so he can maybe break through on the B file. So yeah, we're it's just one possible variation. Okay, yeah. All right. So that's one possibility. All right. So now let's look into this game between Samuel Reshevsky and Tigran Petrosian. Petrosian is black here. All right. This is 1953, this game, and it's a spectacular use of a exchange sacrifice. So d4, knight f6. Okay, kind of like a Nimzovich type. Yeah, Nimzovich. Was Nimzovich defense, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Pretty standard here. Okay. Actually, let me just go back. Let me go back a little bit. So another possibility is f3, right? Instead of e3, where we have f3. Let's just go into a little variation here. So this is one possible variation. Okay. All right. One possibility. Another possibility is c4, which is nicely fixing these pawns and trying to entomb the c1 bishop, right? Knight e2, g4. Okay. Castle. All right. So different kind of sequence there. Okay. Another possibility is bishop d3, c4, bishop c2. All right. And now one possible way, there's two ways that are kind of generally understood to free the c1 bishop, right? E4 followed by maybe bishop f4 or bishop g5, or we can go a4 and bring the bishop out onto this diagonal, right? Free him over here. So okay, so let's continue. Castle. All right, captures. Okay, b6. All right. Okay, so yeah, here they're just showing you with all the arrows, different ways we can try to create a little break. And so here, it's kind of like, what was the last move? Oh yeah. So white to move bishop b2, probably, I don't know, maybe c4. I mean, it looks to me c4 immediately is probably nice because now black is threatening to come here c4 himself and lock down this pawn, right? And now this bishop is starting to look pretty bad after rook e1, now preventing e4 pawn break, right? So yeah, maybe I would say here probably maybe c4 immediately for white, but instead he goes bishop b2. Other possibilities are a4 and then freeing the bishop that way, creating pressure on the c5 pawn. Okay. Some variation here. Okay. All right. Another possibility, d takes. Okay, so that's another possibility, opening up the long diagonal for the bishop. Yeah, so now rook b1 preventing this bishop b2 idea. Take. All right. So one idea. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the game. Bishop b2, and now because white failed to make this c4 the c4 break. So now black clamps down. This is very typical of Petrosian style, right? Very positional, seeking more closed positions rather than open tactical positions, right? So he's really trying to destroy the possibilities for this b2 bishop, right? All right. Bishop c2, bishop g4, queen e1. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, maybe maybe you could even go rook e1 first before knight e5, but I guess it's the same thing. Okay. All right. Takes. Yeah, I would even here. I would probably do something like f4 to really prevent this from happening.
Why wouldn't
That's just me.
White exchange the bishop for the knight in e4 instead of trying to trade the knights? Because it seems like White's central pawn structure is a lot stronger after that trade.
Exchange here.
Yeah.
So let's see, takes, and now I assume back knight d2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like e4 looks weak. Like you might think e5 and c5 might be good outposts later. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the central pawns look very strong.
That's interesting. Maybe the queen has to come here to protect both. Now what does White do? F3? Maybe, right? F3. If we take here, now we're giving White e4, right? Take, and now we're giving White now we're basically giving White the center, right? So that might not be good. And now White's getting a little bit freed. He's got to figure out this bishop situation, but he's got a pretty nice center after that. So maybe instead of capturing that, maybe we just come back, something like that, right? I don't know. What do you think?
Like White looks better here, right? White has that open file for the rook and a lot of control in the center.
Yeah, he's starting to free himself up now. Now he can kick around the queen. Yeah, maybe try to exert control down there and push this pawn. So yeah, so it's starting to look nice. Again, he's still got the problem of the b2 bishop, so he's got to solve that. But yeah, that's a possibility. All right. So let's see. Knight drops back. I mean, what about here? Like going f5. I mean, we do have this fork, but then we got take, or take, and then I mean, I guess he can push. Yeah, he can push here. Yeah. Now this kind of looks nice for White, right? Pretty nice. So all right, let's go back. All right, so take. Bishop comes back. Okay. G6, E4. Okay, so he gets in the E4 break. Very nice. Queen D7. Okay. So now here, D takes E4 is given as a mistake, right? So what are other alternate possibilities? One is Rook FD1 to force or to encourage White to push here, right? Or take. So what happens if he takes? What do you think? What do you think is a good move here if White takes the pawn? What do you think? What do you guys think? So we definitely have, the obvious queen recapture, but most likely that probably isn't the best move, right? So what do you think?
I was looking at trying to figure out how to overload the queen, but I didn't find anything yet besides just queen captures on d5.
Yeah, so I think one problem with us, like you always want to look at which pieces are not in active positions, which pieces are not doing, getting multiple things done. This rook is one, but also the knight. The knight's in a suboptimal position right now, right? All these squares are off limits, right? So maybe a rerouting of the knight, right? Knight e7, and then recapturing with the knight, and this is a nice outpost for the knight, right? So that's one possibility. So what if he goes e5? Now here, now we push the queenside pawns, and we open up, right? Because we have our pawns are definitely much stronger on the queen side than our opponent, right? So we focus on the queen side. Take, push here. Okay. Okay, so here's an interesting continuation here. So white's going for an all-out attack on the black king side, and black is going for an all-out attack on the queen side, and this yields a kind of an interesting position. So yeah, this is a crazy position, but yeah, one possibility. So yeah, so basically, d takes e4 was given as not the best move, a little mistake. But anyway, that's what we played. D takes e4, f takes e4. So now basically white has the center, right? White
So,
controls.
quick question.
Yeah.
So why was taking the pawn a mistake?
Well, for that reason, because now you're relinquishing the center.
Okay.
Right. So now white has complete control over the center, and these pawns are very fluid, and either one can move forward. So this is a very nice position to be in because you never know. Keeping your opponent in limbo. If you're saying I can push either one, I'm not going to tell you which one, and so keeping the option open like that is very nice and puts some pressure on your opponent always to have to consider either one, right? So rook f to e8. Okay, so now he wants to put some pressure on this one. Maybe encourage him to move. Okay, queen f4. All right. So now let's see. There's another variation here. What if he goes a4, trying to activate his dark square bishop? Some possibility is knight e5. Right, taking advantage of the pin. Bishop a3, knight d3. Okay, and take the pawn. So now you just traded, you traded your c pawn for this a pawn. Now you have a pass. Now you both have pass pawns. So this is kind of yields in a very interesting position here. Kind of wild. So that's one possibility. All right, so he goes queen f4 to escape that pin. So b5. Now he's trying to get some activity on the queen side. Bishop d1, so kind of rerouting the bishop to a more active position. Bishop g4. Okay. All right. a5. Okay, trying to get some activity on the queen side. Rook e3, rook d8, rook f to e1. Okay, so now here's the key position. Anybody recognize this position, by the way? Has anybody seen this game? Nobody? Okay. All right, so this is the key position. So what is the best move? Petrosian is black again. What is black's best move here? What do you think?
Since this is a exchange sacrifice study, I'm guessing rook e6. Barricade that pawn from
Yes,
marking.
excellent. Keep the theme in mind. All right. So yeah, rook e6. So this again, very positional sacrifice, exchange sacrifice. Okay, now tell me why he did that. Why do you think he did that?
Pushing e6 looks very problematic for black.
Pushing e6. Okay, yeah. Okay, one reason.
On the other hand, well, no. Sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead. What else do you think?
No, I realized what I was about to say was wrong, so I didn't.
Okay. So anybody else? Why is rook e6? Why did he choose that move?
So with a pawn on e6, it does give him control over white's passed pawn. I mean, it's no longer a passed pawn now.
Oh, you mean if he takes the bishop, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so once he has a pawn on e6, now basically these pawns are immobilized, and he also has control over the light squares, right? And now Petrosian will be the only one with the light square bishop. This bishop would be really bad, right? Because all these pawns are on dark squares. And also he is giving life to this knight right now, which has no life, right? This knight is not very useful at all. So rook e6, bishop takes, f takes, and now d5 becomes a nice outpost for the knight, right? Reroute the knight, e7, d5, and now d5 can be is a very productive post for the knight, right? So yeah, many reasons to do this very this brilliant exchange sacrifice. This is given a double exclamation mark. Exchange sacrifice. All right. Let's see. Okay, so a4. So he doesn't. So Reshevsky doesn't take it immediately. A4. Try to undermine these pawns. Maybe. Let's see. Let's see. Here's a possible variation if he took it immediately. Bishop takes. F takes. Rook over. Okay. Heading for d5. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah. So now in this position, so now he's ready to activate his dark squared bishop. Maybe push the pawn. Open up the G file. Hope maybe create some counterplay on the king side. So one possibility. Okay. So back to the game. A4, 97. So even before he even before he even takes the rook, he's heading to d5 anyway. He's like, I don't care if you take the rook, I'm heading to d5 anyway. So he's like, finally, I'll take your rook. Finally, give me the rook. So he takes the rook and queen f1. So again, this is hopefully he wants to get rid of this annoying c4 pawn, right? Trying to undermine the b5 root of the little pawn chain. Okay, knight d5, rook f3, and bishop d3. Cool. So this is a nice move, protecting the pawn, attacking the queen. So what do you think? What do you think Reshevsky did? What do you think White did in this position?
Takes d3.
Yeah. You basically have to give back the material because black's minor pieces are just too active. They're very active. So if you want any counterplay at all, this knight and bishop are controlling every one of these squares. This rook is dead, can't move anywhere. And b5 is following, and he would be forced to take, and now you got two connected pass pawns, very powerful. And also the a4 pawn will be hanging by the queen. So yeah, so much activity. So he decided, you know what, I'll just give it back. So that's the nice thing about accepting sacrifices is you can always give back the material if you feel that your position is going to become too losing, right? And you should not be afraid of giving back material. Do not be greedy. One thing in chess is that chess punishes is greed. Okay, don't be greedy. All right, so here's a variation. What if he went queen f2? So let's just go through this. b4. C takes. Yeah, and now these pawns are pretty nice rollers. This queen is gonna sorry, the a4 pawn is gonna fall very quickly. Okay, so take on d3, take. Okay, now b4, c takes. So now let's look at some other possibilities. What if you went c4? Is that a good move? So c4, knight b6, again targeting the a4 pawn. All right, it's a possibility. Rook c1, knight takes, bishop a1, queen c6. All right, that's one possibility. Then we got another possibility is queen g6. Queen takes, H takes, C5. This is kind of interesting. So white's got a pass pawn here, black's got 2 connected pass pawns, but the knight is kind of blocking and in the way, so that yields a kind of interesting position. Another possibility is D5. What if you just pushes D5? Let's see, D5 takes. All right. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, you see he's threatening the little fork there. Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, so all right, let's go on. So some interesting lines there. All right, so C takes, B takes. So now we have 2 little pawns here that are out in the open. So let's see, A5, rook A8, rook A1, queen C6, bishop C1. Yeah, look at the difference with the bishop and the knight. This knight is very beautiful position for the knight, and the bishop is just he's looking for activity. He has no activity right now. So very nice. Okay. Push the pawn. Okay. Okay.
Why wouldn't the rook capture a6?
Yeah, so the rook can capture a6. Let's see here. So yeah, rook can
Mhm,
capture,
right.
and then maybe what would we do here? Let's see. Probably check here, and then king comes back, and then we come back here, check, and we pick up this one.
Right.
No, rook
You
A1.
could push the rook to a1.
Let's see.
I guess you can perpet if you want to be
Say again?
annoying. Right?
And push the rook to a1.
You know, check.
So check, and then what?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
Yes, check. Yeah. So then we go here.
Well, all right, so play g6 instead of
Actually, this is hanging too now. Right?
Mhm.
Hanging with check. So yeah. All right. So let's see. Hold on. Let's go back here. So we said rook takes. Yeah, you can't really take the pawn because then our bishop's hanging as well. All right. Yeah, it looks like this is the best. Oh, we just take here, right? Oh yeah, right. Good. Yeah, you take with the queen, not d4. D4 is protected, right? Yeah, so basically equal, right? So, or actually, no, white's up a pawn. But the difference is black has a nicer compensation for the more active piece, minor piece. It's kind of a different thing. Okay, so bishop e1, rook takes, and that's exactly what he did. Oh, so yeah, they went for a draw. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it ends in a draw, but yeah, so this is one example of an exchange sacrifice. All right, you guys want to just go on to another example?
But why would it end in a draw? Why wouldn't he just push the pawn to g6?
Let's see. You mean
Block the check from C2.
Oh yeah. So let's say block. Take. So now what would you do here?
Take the queen.
Take the queen. And now what?
Push the rook to a1.
A1. Okay. Now what?
Maybe knight f4, threaten the fork.
Knight f4.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe he just goes here. It's pretty he protects pretty well.
Before knight f4. So while the knight was still on d5.
Yeah.
What about rook d1?
Yeah. So rook d1. Maybe we can go
the
here.
Rook protects. Okay.
Same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty drawish, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Because the bishop, although usually it's more active in end games, but the way the pawns are structured and the way the knight is placed, the knight, I would say, has definitely
Actually, I'm,
more
I'm
activity.
sorry.
Go
If you go back,
Mhm. To where?
the rook to D1,
Okay.
black rook to D1,
Yeah.
and then you played the rook to D2. I would play the knight to C3.
Knight C3. Okay. Let's
Take,
see.
check.
Yeah. Now what do? You got to. Oh, you got to go all the way over here.
All right, so you retreat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the point is, it's an end game. You're down a pawn.
Yeah. You're down a
Might as
pawn,
well
right?
take the draw.
Right. Yeah. And here it seems like White's king is a little bit more active than Black's king, right? Although he's probably going to try to get in this way, but you can just stop him with G4. Then you would have to come around this way. It takes a while. So yeah, so maybe it was more prudent for for White or for Black to take the draw. Yeah. All right. Cool. You want to look at another one?
Mhm.
Yeah. Everybody. Okay. So let me see.
Yes.
Let's see. Which one should we look at? All right. All right. Let's look at one. I have a computer one, but I don't really want to look at computer games. I want to look at people games. All right. So this is Bobby Fischer and Walter Hausman. Bobby Fischer's Black, 1959. Santiago. Okay. So what do we got here? Bobby Fischer's Black. We have a Sicilian defense. All right. Anybody know the name of this? I'm not familiar with all the Sicilian variation names. Anybody know the name of this one? I have no idea. Okay. Maybe the Richter Rouser attack or something like that. Okay.
I think it's a Najdorf, isn't it?
Is it? Maybe. Oh, I was thinking this F5. Is that considered some attack, some kind of attack?
I don't know.
I
It
think
started with-
the knight out plus the bishop g5 is called Richter Rouser.
Yeah.
What you mentioned.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I was right. Well, pretty amazing. All right. Okay. So looks like Black is going to castle king side. Looks like it. Let's see here. Okay. Whoa. Oh, wow. Yeah, so he does a nice exchange sacrifice and then after that push on D5 and try to invade that way. All right, cool. Cool. Yeah, so the idea of the sacrifice is isolate the A3 pawn, double the C pawns, and destroy the king's cover, right? Right.
I've never been able to pull it off, but I think the exchange sacrifice on C3 is a common theme in the Sicilian. I mean, so I've read. But
Yeah, especially where there's opposite side castling. Yeah, I think so. Takes, D5, right? Okay, open up the queen. Good. Castle. Wow, so he doesn't even take the pawn. All right. So another possibility, another variation is knight A4. And now in this one, they say, okay, sacrifice the bishop now. Okay. Possibility. Okay. All right, let's go back. Castle. Also, he takes the bishop and he takes the pawn anyway, huh? Interesting. Yeah, you would think that would be counterproductive because then that would be opening up the queen side even more, right? Why would you want to do that? That's kind of weird. Okay, here's another variation: King B2, Knight A4 check, King C1, Queen takes. Ooh, ouch, that hurts.
it's getting ugly.
Yeah, Queen D2 takes C1. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so he takes here. Okay, Knight C4. Ooh, okay, threatening a little fork there. Queen B4. Takes. All right, and fork the rooks. All right. Maybe you get some compensation. All right. Okay. Wow, those knights are killer. In this position, I would definitely consider this. I don't know why. To me, that looks like a nicer move. See, now you're opening up this the bishop attacking the pawn, also protecting the knight, right? Nice outpost. Although he can protect the pawn, but this pawn seems very weak, right? And this knight on c2, on f2 or g3 would need to stay there to defend this pawn. So that seems to me the best move, right? What do you guys think?
Well, if you go f2, then g2 falls, right?
If you go f2, then g2, right? Yeah, g2 falls. Yeah,
And
yeah,
h4 will fall.
yeah. So maybe
If you go g3, you have an attack on h5 as well, but you probably, I guess, don't want to go for it.
right.
Maybe g6 here.
Yeah, maybe.
Open up the line for the rook or something.
Maybe something like that. Is that a good move? I don't know. I'm not sure. So in this position, let's see. White is
Now you
wait,
just take the rook out, and you're going to capture the f6 pawn, right? Like there's no
Yeah.
way to defend that.
right. Yeah, I mean, in
Yeah,
conjunction with this.
g4 is coming. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. All right. So he takes the pawn instead. Well, I guess it's a free pawn anyway, so maybe that's why he took it. Knight g3. Check. Ooh, nice minor piece coordination. Okay. Ooh, nice. Look at that. Beautiful. Whoa. Wow. Oh my God. I like that. That's nice. Woo.
When
So
the
he's
white king is on d6, you might have problems.
Yeah. Wow.
Usually not the place you're trying to get to.
Wow. Look at that. Whoa. Wait, he took? I'm thinking no. It doesn't. It seems like this is a possible good move, but no, because this is not protected, so he can escape here. I was thinking if e5 was protected, that would have been a nice knight b6 is a nice move there. All right, cool. Knight c4, forking the king and rook. Beautiful. Take. Wow. All right. Wow. Interesting. So what do you guys think of this game? Oh my God. Crazy. What do you guys think?
So,
Yeah, so-
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Quite a few moves ago, White sacrificed a bishop on b5. What was the point of that?
Yeah. Let's see that. Let's see. Bishop takes b5 here. Yeah, so here, let's see, what else can he do? So black is definitely threatening knight a4, going after that, and he can take this pawn whenever he wants. So I guess he's doing that to just open up his position, right? To open up his rook, and because black already sacrificed the exchange, so he figured he might give some material back to get some activity. To me, that seems like the reasoning behind that.
Like take on d5, try to open lines to the bishop.
Knight takes on d5. So let's see here. Maybe now he would just take here, and then in combination with this, this is falling and this is falling.
Yeah, you could maybe queen d2.
Queen d2.
And now you have like now you can take b5 with the discovery. I guess
No. This is mate.
Yeah.
This is a mate threat. So he's gonna lose his queen.
Yeah.
So you got to deal with that. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe taking on d5 was not good, because now you're giving the knight another square to jump to. Right now, knight has a4 and c4, so you don't want to give the knight another square. So yeah, he sacrifices the bishop to give his queen some activity, so the queen can help protect the king. Right now, the king is pretty open, and it's hard for his pieces to join in the protection, right? So I think maybe that's why he thinks he's forced to give back materials so that he can use his queen to protect his king.
What about something like king a2 followed by rook b1?
King a2. Let's see here. Maybe let's see. Yeah, maybe here. Then what do? Queen d2, right? Maybe.
Hmm.
Queen d2, rook c8.
Or takes on e5 maybe.
Yeah, you can take on e5. This
Then
also,
your bishop has d5.
yeah,
That's-
right. So yeah, you can do that, and then you can always jump in here with the fork whenever you want. so, so yeah, it's not looking good for white here. Yeah. This positional sacrifice is like it's something that when people don't see immediate return on their sacrifice, like a lot of people wouldn't think to do it, right? But sometimes really experienced players, they just have this feeling, like Magnus Carlsen says with his sometimes his moves are based on intuition alone, right? So sometimes you look at a position, you're like, this feels like a positional exchange sacrifice is warranted here. So yeah, nice. All right, cool. Any other questions? What do you guys think? Yeah, like in combination with this knight activity, this pawn, the queen eyeing here, and also the fact that all these white pieces cannot easily come to this king's aid, makes for a really compelling sacrifice there. Yeah. All right, cool. You want to move on to another game? Yeah.
Sure.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Kramnik versus Sokolov. Let's go, Kramnik. All right. White to move. What do you think is the best move here? White to move.
Pawn to d6.
Pawn d6. Let's see here. So, I mean, he can take, let's see. He can take with the rook.
Then bishop c4. Check.
Bishop c4.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
well, I was forcing the
Yeah.
grabbing the queen. But
All right. Something else? What do you think?
Well, based on the class theme, let's exchange on c7.
Uh-huh. How'd you know that was the theme of the class?
You can pick up f6 afterward, right?
So yeah, so why would he do that? So tell me why.
Well, I was
Why-
saying we can pick up f6, open the diagonal, the black diagonal for the queen.
Yeah, so you pick up f6, and that creates two connected pass pawns, right? Very powerful. In combination with the bishop, very nice combination. And yeah, this h6 pawn is definitely a thorn in his side, right? So now with rook takes f6, now we're opening up the entire diagonal. So black's position is very weak now. So takes rook
I've
f8.
been watching a lot of the Speed Chess Championship, and they always call h6 an alpha 0 move. Do you know why?
Alpha 0? Why?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I'm not sure.
Is it something that like Alpha 0 always does? I don't know.
That's
Yeah, I
funny.
think that was I think there was some championship among the computers, the bots, and apparently Alpha Zero kept playing all these wing pawn moves like H4 or A4 quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I much prefer to study human games. I don't know. Just my thing. But okay, so rook f8, queen drops back to b2, rook c8. And now what do you think? Best move here for white here. What do you think?
D6.
D6. Sneaky move. Why is that a good move?
Well, if he exchanges queens now on C1,
Uh-huh.
it seems to favor white because now it's going to become even harder to control the passed pawns.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And if the queen moves away from the 7th rank, I mean, he can't move, otherwise it's mate.
Yeah, the mate threat is
F7
constant.
is forced.
Right. So yeah, so here he chose to trade queens, queen c1. Okay, then he drops back, he hurries back. And now, what do you think? Best move here?
E5.
So let's see, e5. I think so many things win in this position. Yeah, e5 is good. It's not what he played, but e5 looks fine to me.
Or I guess d7 was also good.
D7. I think D7 is a little bit premature because you want to move when you have passed pawns. You want to make sure they move together, right? So you want to keep them together as much as possible. They're much stronger that way. So in the game, you played knight G5, A6, and bishop A4, and I mean, there's not much that black can do. I mean, what can you do? The king stays here. The king has to stay here, or else the A7 pawn hangs. All you got to do is push these pawns up. You know, you can even use this. You push these as well, and yeah, right. What else? What else can black do? Nothing.
Maybe bishop c6.
So bishop c6. Let's say I would throw in a check here, and now what does black do? If he goes king f1, king f8, then we have knight takes h7 check. And if he goes here, now the king is just stuck.
True, but he was already stuck, and you might think like knight f7, but it doesn't look like there's any real discovery that is threatening.
So knight f7 check. And now, what do you think is best move here?
Push the pawn.
No.
Yeah. If you want to win material, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, knight there, and if the bishop takes, we have discovery, or even maybe a nicer discovery with knight e5 check. So yeah, now it becomes even easier to win for white. So yeah, check. Yeah. So yeah, so it seems like king f8 is kind of forced. Knight takes, go here, and now we have this passed pawn as well. Beautiful position here. Now we just push and win the game. Cool. Yeah. Exchange sacrifice. Do you guys use these in your game sometimes? Do you guys consider using these at all?
Consider it. Oh, I never have the intestinal fortitude to try it.
I know it's a little bit frightening, you know, especially if you're playing someone, you know, on your level or even higher rated than you. You really have to, you know, you have to feel very confident to willingly sacrifice a rook for a bishop or a knight.
I feel like I never do it if the rooks are being active. I've done it a few times when I feel like my rooks are just kind of sitting on the back rank, and when the opposing side has like a knight, especially, that's like being a huge thorn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely something to keep in mind. Yeah, just like Robert said, you got to have intestinal fortitude to do it because you're willingly giving up material for some positional compensation, right? Not necessarily material compensation, right? So yeah, you got to have some kind of intuition or foresight to think, you know, this position warrants this sacrifice, right? Yeah, but it's something you should keep in mind. Any other questions, comments? All right. You wanna look at? I think one more. Okay, let's look at one more. We got 8 minutes. So let's look at this one. This is a pretty famous one. All right, so let's see here. So, okay, so white to move. So white to move. What do you think is the best move for white here? What do you think?
I was thinking if we could somehow take on e5 and then push e6
So take on e5.
And I mean, at this point, you have the bishop takes
Yeah.
f1, and if any of our piece recaptures, he can capture back on e5, and we lose the pawn.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one possibility. Yeah, these kings are so open here. Oh, by the way, this is Petrosian versus Spassky. White is Petrosian, and black is Spassky. So
White's is a little better, right? Because you have knight g3.
yeah, I would say white's definitely better because look at this knight is very very out of play. Queen has a nice diagonal to work on, and in this variation, white got 2 minor pieces. So yeah, so that's one possibility. What else do you think?
I was looking at queen c3.
Okay, so queen c3. So what does he do? Take the bishop, take the rook.
I'm not sure if you take back right away or if you check on g3 first.
You want to check first?
Maybe.
Come back here, and now we're gonna lose this pawn. All right. Now it looks like black is getting the upper hand here. Kind of. It's gonna take a few moves to get this rook into play. All right. So what do you think? What else? So I give you a hint. Remember the theme of this lecture, right?
Yeah, we got that.
So
Knight to e3.
yeah, 93 is the move he played. Yeah. So he sees that, out of all of his pieces, minor pieces, that the D1 knight is the most inactive, right? So he brings a knight to a nice square, develops it, and says, you know what? Give me that bishop, right? I forget which comedian, what his name is, but he always started off with his act with "Take My Wife." Does anybody know the name of the comedian?
Rodney Dangerfield.
No, it wasn't him. It was someone else. I know Rodney Dangerfield. No, it's someone else. I forget the name of this comedian, but he always started his act with "Take My Wife." So in this
Yeah,
case,
was it Jack Benny or one of those old guys?
Benny Hill or
Jack Benny? Or...
maybe Jack Benny. Yeah, that's kind of funny. So it kind of reminds me in this position is take my rook, take my rook. he's not even. He doesn't even want to move his rook. So yeah, so Spassky takes the rook, bishop takes, rook takes, knight g6, bishop g4. Ooh, nice eye there. Knight takes. Ooh, oh, double. He does a double exchange sacrifice. Oh my god, talk about intestinal fortitude to do one exchange sacrifice, right? He does it. This is even better. Rook takes. So now we got all these minor pieces. Okay, so wow. All right, so wow, he's forced to block because it would be do you see what the continuation is if king f1, king f8, sorry?
Queen h8.
Yeah, queen h8 and then king e7 and then what?
Queen g7.
And then let's see, yeah.
If rook blocks, you take. If king e8, then
yeah, check. So now, yeah, if he blocks, it's mate. So let's see here. There must be something.
Or maybe knight f5 instead. Yeah, instead of the queen check. I mean.
Let's see. Let's see. So if we go no, because our queen is hanging.
Oh, well, it's check. It's check.
But it was check. They did. Oh, but then he just takes with the rook. And
yeah, he takes with the rook. Yeah. So let's say rook, queen g7, king here. Maybe now knight here, and now he's kind of forced. He's forced it to capture. Something like that. Yeah. All right. All right. So he chose not to go down that route. So he decided to give back some material. Rook f7.
Knight f5 looks good now.
Knight f5. Yeah, that looks kind of good. Although he has a check here, so we don't want to give him that. So what do you think? What did he play?
Knight f3.
Okay, so a knight f3 is possibility. Even better, knight
Knight
e4.
E4.
Yeah, knight e4.
Mm.
Now we're threatening to come on to f6 and also putting pressure on d6. Okay, so queen h4. And now what do you think? Best move here for white.
Queen G2. Check.
Queen g2. Okay, possibility. All right. Okay, it's a possibility. Yeah. If you go here, you win the rook outright. If you go king f8, maybe you take the rook and then you take here with check. Okay, possibility. All right, but he didn't do queen g2. What else? What do you think?
I would actually, if you did that and the king went to f8,
Mm-hmm.
done knight takes d6.
So knight takes d6.
Rook g7.
Mm, yeah. Right. Yeah. That's kind of annoying there. Yeah, we don't want that. Definitely not.
Yeah. Okay.
How about
What else?
knight
There's
f5?
knight f6.
Okay, so knight f6 check.
King
Okay.
f8.
King f8.
Knight d7.
Knight
No,
d7.
rook
I don't
will
let
take.
the king escape now.
Yeah.
He
King's,
can also take the knight. No.
yeah, you can take,
knight.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so give me another one.
Knight f5?
Knight f5. So now this is hanging, but you also have this nice check here.
Well, but we got mate, don't you, on g7 if he takes the knight?
Right. Yeah, made it here. That's true. That's true. Okay.
Yeah, but you have queen e1, and I think you can at least perpet, probably.
Yeah, you got a lot of annoying
Yeah,
checks
that's
here.
true.
Yeah, check.
No,
Yeah.
that's bad.
And then
Yeah,
after that, the
doesn't work.
queen can block. Yeah. So you don't want to give him some counterplay.
Nope.
What else? What else you got?
If the bishop takes the rook and then the king takes back, the knight jumps over to d6 to check, can you then come up with the queen?
So bishop takes, king takes, and then what'd you say?
Check the king by taking the pawn.
Take the pawn, yeah.
And then is it positioning you to try to bring once the king moves to either bring the queen up or potentially fork the queen and the king?
Right.
Yeah, so king e7 falls into a fork.
Yeah, this would be a fork. This would be a fork.
That's illegal.
Oh,
Queen
right.
guards the
Sorry.
diagonal.
Yeah, you're right.
You only have f8 and g8.
And g6.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, g6 actually is nice because if the queen checks, then we trade queens.
Hmm.
Right? So that's no good. We don't want that either. All right, what else? So how about here, putting more pressure onto the rook?
Knight d6.
Yeah, knight takes d6. That's the move he played. Yeah, immediately putting more pressure onto the rook. It
I
looks
think I
like
would still be worried about. Yeah, e1.
it looks like he's got some annoying checks here, but yeah, if he goes here, then we have queen, and then we trade queens, and we win this rook outright, which is nice. And
I guess you can block with the knight.
can.
If he checks on e1, you can block with the knight.
Oh no, you can't. Why not?
Mate.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Mate, that's okay. Mate, yeah, you don't want to block with the knights.
Checkmate is a problem, isn't it?
Checkmate's a
Yeah.
problem, yeah. Actually, that reminds me of, there's a quote by I think it was Manuel Lasker, the second world champion. He's like, if you see a good move, pause and look for a better one. And then I was watching, the Chess Bros, online, Twitch stream. Amon, what's the name? Amon Hambleton or something.
Yeah.
He's like, oh look, mate in one. He's like, no. I just remember Emmanuel Lasker's quote: "If you see a good move, look for a better one. Mate in one. No. Look for a better one. Look for a better."
He's got a stream where he plays somebody who won't resign, so he checkmates him with like 9 knights or something.
Oh, that's right. I think I saw something like that. That's great. All right, so knight takes d6.
What's wrong with queen to e1
Queen to e1.
in
So
response?
yeah, so I think the best move here, would be just king up.
Yeah, but now you take the knight.
Yeah, you hit the knight and then take here, check, king over. Now we win this. Oh, actually, we also have this. No, I don't think we have time though, because our queen's hanging. So yeah, probably best is something like this. And I guess it might
Seems
be.
like there should be a perpetual here.
Yeah, it might be. So something like that. All right, so that's something. Okay, but he didn't do queen e1. He went queen g5, king h1, and now let's see, rook a7 to protect his rook. Bishop takes, rook takes, and now the killer move. What is the killer move in this position?
Queen h8.
Yeah, nice move.
Nice.
nice use of a deflective sacrifice for the purpose of a fork. Very nice. I actually just did forks with my the beginner class just like an hour ago, and we did this very position. This is awesome illustration of a deflective sacrifice. Yeah, cool. All right, awesome. So that is exchange sacrifices. Hope you guys develop the intestinal fortitude to do them in your own games.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely have to do one someday.
Yeah. Give it a shot. So yeah, any ideas for the next class? Anything you want to look over? What do you think?
One thing is, it's not totally clear to me how much this is actually helping me in my own games, in part because people play so inaccurately. I think I said this like 2 weeks ago. Like, my opponents are not masters. And
That's true.
I think more often I just get into very weird positions where they, where say like they'll play like gambits that I know should be weak, but don't know how to take advantage of them, or stuff like that. And
yeah,
I never end up with these like very solid positions that we analyze.
I know. It's it can be frustrating. Yeah, I know what you mean. I played people where, it's regular position, starting position, and they start with, they're like 2,300, 2,400 players, and they start with a4 and h4, and rook rook a3, rook
Right.
rook h3, and you're like, why is this guy beating me?
Or it's like I played d4 a lot, and like normal moves people will play like a Slav defense or a Queen's Gambit or
Yeah.
or a King's Indian, and then half the time people play like a Benoni defense or an Anglin Gambit or something. It's I don't know. Do I take this pawn? Like now my center looks weird. Now the whole position is weird. There are pawns hanging everywhere.
Right.
So I have a question for you. At
Yeah.
your level, like you mentioned a few weeks back, Fischer always played, king pawn 4.
Yeah. Oh, you love king pawns.
At your level, do you have an opening that you always stick with, or what are the reasons why you mix up your openings?
So I mean, personally, I love d4 openings, d4, c4, knight f3 openings, because they're more positional, not so much tactical as much as e4 pawns are, e4 pawn openings. And I think I mentioned to you guys before how much I love chess 960, right? Have I mentioned that to you enough? Because of this idea that it's every position is so different, and because if I find myself playing too many games of regular chess, standard chess, I just fall into this rut of d4, and I don't want to keep playing the same opening over and over again, especially if you're playing the same player over and over again. Like if the player is not creative in their openings, you're not creative in your openings, it's going to lead to uncreative games, right? in the openings anyway. you know, for those reasons, I find much more benefit to my play, my improvement when I do chess 960. But yeah, for me personally, I like d4, c4, knight f3 for the positional nature that it yields. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, cool. So yeah, next week, any ideas? I mean, we just touched on the idea of pawns. You know, there's so much more to go into with pawn, how to use your pawns. You know, we can do more of that or something else. What do you guys think? Any other ideas? What do you want to work on?
I mean, along the lines of what I said, I'd be happy to look at some like weird gambit openings. And, like, why
Gambit
they might be
opening.
weak.
So like the elephant gambit and the orangutan opening and
I was talking about, like England and the Benoni defense and like the Albin counter gambit and stuff like I don't know.
oh, okay. So you want to do some openings then, some gambit openings you want to focus on. Okay. Anybody else? Does that sound good? Yeah. Cool.
I feel like I
Alright.
always suggest every week, so if other people have different ideas, please speak over me.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right.
I-
I'll look into gambits then. Cool. All right. So yeah, good talking to you guys. We will see you again next week.
All right.
So,
All right.
Thanks.
Go
Have a
on.
great-
Have a good week.
Have a great week.
You too.
Take care.